like made its way to you or not, but Volk mentioned on his press conference that he has a store now. What is it? AXV or something, AVK something, and he sells shirts. And he goes, we also have an apron. I'm like, oh shit, I want a kitchen apron or I want something, for grilling. Dude, it's like a picture of his bare chest with a belt. And I'm like, I can't wear that. Here, I'm gonna pull it up. It was very disappointing. Alex Volkanovski merch website. Have you seen that? Did you see his interview where he was talking about it?
No, I'm not familiar. I might buy an apron with Volkanovski's chest and belt on it. I love Volk. And if I can
I know you do. And I do like Volk as well, but I don't know if I can get behind this.
Well, let's see what it looks like first. And while you're doing that, I'll just let you know, Spotify, YouTube, subscribe to us on Spotify and YouTube, please. And if you subscribe on YouTube, hit that little bell up to our names next to the top, and that'll let you know when we're going live. Jump in the comments. We really appreciate it. Let us know in the comments which fight you're looking forward to, what picks you got, what you think about these fights. Got a couple of recurring friends. You could be one of them. Also, you can follow me at Pickin Keith, at Pickin Fights Tom on X, and at _ Pickin Winners on Instagram, at Pickin Fights on Instagram. Right?
Yeah, sounds good to me. All right, so I couldn't find the website, but he wore the apron at the press conference.
That's really something. I do actually like that a lot, and I think I might be buying that.
Well, that does make one of us.
Yeah, I'm a huge fan. Anything I could do to be more like Volk, and if that makes me more like him, if I could cook like Volk, then we're one step closer.
Have you seen the Volk skits or the most recent one?
No, the last one that I saw him was the old man shit.
Oh, he just did this one, which was awesome. Let me get some volume on this. Can you hear that?
No.
With the sports bet crew in, now Farmer Volk prepares for my biggest fight yet. Farming and fighting is pretty similar. From weeding to digging holes, through to moving things around. Even they look fake anyway.
He starts fighting with his old.
Try me, mate. I'll be chucking you in the Barbie next. Mate, keep it up, and I'll make you a part of that fertilizer too. Watch yourself. Yeah, sorry about that, guys. If all the gear, no idea. This bloke, me, no idea. Mate, you come on a farm wearing designer shoes. Are you saying, welcome to the farm? Got a season.
Oh, this is great.
Absolute pet. Yeah.
He practices not getting choked out by wrestling snakes, and gets choked out.
Influencer stuff, mate. Cooking with Volk. You go back to
he's
farmer, mate. You know your dad does all the work anyway. Pretending, me, you're the one who pretends you know how to cook. Look, yeah, that'll be right. Steak and burgers is all you ever do, mate. Farmer, mate. All the gear. It's Kimura. As you
He
can
gets
see,
into a fight
life
with
is
his neighbor.
drama-free on the farm. I'm a good fighter, but as I've shown the sports bet crew, I think I've become an even better farmer.
Yeah, I'll have to check that out.
Dude, he's a good actor.
Yeah, he's pretty funny. Well, did you know that he's going to be in the Street Fighter movie?
I think I did see that, which I don't like that.
I do. I actually am very excited for the movie.
I don't like that for his fight career because I think every time athletes start being in movies, their athletic career starts to decline if it wasn't already.
You're right. I'm just hoping that it's not like an ongoing endeavor for him because he's the Street Fighter movie was more like fan casted, where like people were like, oh, people, you go on the internet all the time and it's like, I want this guy to play Wolverine. I want Henry Cavill to play Cyclops. And like every time they're coming out with a new movie, people jump online and have like their ideas. This one has like Andrew Schultz in it, who's also not a serious actor at all. I think it's like they literally just went with like Volk is 5'5", however tall he is. he looks a certain way. He is a fighter. And so people online were like, we want Alexander Volkanovski to play Joe in fucking Street Fighter, which, like, I'm not a big Street Fighter guy. I don't know who he is. But the trailer for it looked really good. It looked funny. And I think he's only in it. I think he's going to be, like, the type of dude that, like, shows up for a minute and then gets his, like, head popped off.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I don't think it's like he's
not Conor McGregor.
Right, or Kamaru Usman, who, like, apparently worked for, like, weeks on Black Panther and only had a scene where he came in and, like, shook his head and was like, yes, sir, yes, sir. Like, that was pretty much it. Like, I don't think anything outside of that, you know, Francis Ngannou was in, like, The Expendables, I think.
Was he?
I think so. Or Fast and Furious, one of those movies. But, yeah, I hope it's not the same way for Volk, but big test for him this week. Going to find out how much time he actually spent on the movie set and how much time he spent training. So, yeah, lots of.
Without further ado, right?
Right.
It's time!
All right.
Everybody, we're back for another episode of Pickin' Fights. I'm Keith. That's Tom. Tom, how are you?
I'm doing awesome. How are you, Keith?
Doing well.
Awesome.
Yeah, so we just kind of like talked about Volk a little bit. The man, the absolute myth and the legend. Probably the UFC fighter I want to meet the most out of the entire roster, just to let him know.
Him or Max Holloway for sure.
Yeah. But for me, all right, Volk, one of my.
No, I think it's Volk for you and Max for me.
Yeah, facts. I got you. But, like, the only reason for me is because, like, my dad was not a huge UFC guy. 2021, one of the only fights I really got him to, like, sit there and give a shit about was Volkanovski versus Brian Ortega.
That's awesome.
It was crazy, dude. Good memory, you know? And so that's one of those athletes you want to meet and be like, yo, I have this incredible memory with my dad, and it was you fighting and kicking ass. But other than that, also one of my all-time favorites, probably my favorite. I think he's the GOAT of the sport personally. But, you know, I maybe go in the minority in that category. Anyways, are you excited for this card?
I can't wait for this card. And we had both said that maybe haven't given it as much due diligence as we should have with UFC 324 happening just before. It's kind of, the big build up, and then you forget that this one comes right behind it, 324, 325. I'd be interested to know how many times they've had a numbered card on back-to-back weeks. I can't imagine it happens all that much, but a really interesting way and really strong way to start the Paramount the Paramount Plus era. Big question I have for this card is going to be, are we going to get any of the corner time back? I listened to Ariel Helwani complain about all of the commercials, this and that. Listen, I get what Dana White's saying. They paid $9 billion or whatever they did for it. Like, they're going to have to get their money back in advertising. I don't hate it. I can get the UFC for $9 now, so I understand that's going to come with some successions. That being said, I don't know if successions is the right word. It's close enough, though. Concessions. That's going to come with some concessions. I'm going to concede some things with that. But at least just let me get the corner speak during the main card fights, if anything. I would like them during them all, but if it's just the main card fights, I get it. You could even give me an L banner like they do with Red Zone. Give me like a little L banner for like Papa John's and whatever on the side, Toyo Tires, and then let me hear what the corner is going on. I will meet you in the middle there, but that's what I hope to see. And Dana was kind of non-committal about whether they were going to do that, what they were going to change, who has the final say on that. But I hope that they can kind of, in an effort to put out the best product they can, give us at least some of that. And then, I think fans are willing to accept a lot to get pay-per-views for $9 a month. Just give it a little bit. Just give it a little bit, and I think it'll be a great move. But either way, super excited. Let's get into this these main card picks.
Yeah, I agree.
Sorry about that. I felt like I was rambling.
No, you're good. And you're absolutely correct. $9 commercials. It's a weight there. You got
to good trade.
Yeah. So first up. Now, I was having some problems with the name because it's I kept thinking it was Quillan Salkield versus Jamie Malarkey. I got Quillen all the way here this week, minus 850 to open up the main card. Dog, savage. His foot went ground to target super fast against Nasrat Haqparast, knocked him out. And MMA math does check out in this particular scenario. It doesn't always check out, but yeah, crazy fast speed on that head kick.
Bang.
Jamie Malarkey. Well, what I was going to say is that like MMA math isn't something that always checks out, but in this case, it absolutely does. Jamie Malarkey was a guy who, like, once upon a time, I used to think had this uncrackable chin, which for quite some time he did. It's just it catches up to everybody when it comes to professional fighters. It's like either you go long term without being able to get dropped, or you end up with serious head trauma. And fortunately for Jamie Malarkey, I think that his chin cracked before he could go that long in his career. He's been in some absolute wars, don't get me wrong, but he's also just not super defensively sound, and that's a problem against a guy like Quillen. I think Quillen's going to put his lights out. We're at that point in Jamie Malarkey's career where he's no longer got that tough chin. He is able to be put out, and I think that Quillen is going to be a good showing. It's Australian versus Australian in this matchup in Australia. It's the only one I've seen on the card that's like that, and I think it's a good passing of the torch. You know, it's a lot of fans from Australia are fans of Jamie Malarkey's because there's not many Australian fighters. It may seem like there are, especially on this card because they're going to top load them with Australian fighters. But long story short, I think Quillen's going to knock him out in front of a home-friendly Australian crowd that's going to be divided on who to root for. Who do you got, Tom?
Quillian Salkeed, and I don't know that they're going to be that divided because I think Quillian Salkeed is the future. He is 26 years old, as you can see there, against 31-year-old Jamie Malarkey. And I know you mentioned that Jamie Malarkey had, lost that chin, and I think that he's lost that chin a long time ago, unfortunately. I mean, he's just, that was a lot of what his claim to fame was having a good chin and being able to like withstand more damage than the opponent, because he's always going to give one and get one. And now when his chin is not great, not average, but teetering on subpar glass, I think you run into a lot more issues. You look at him 3-2 over his last 5. Win was over a decision over Rolando Bedoya. If you don't have a knockout, punch, you're looking to outlast the guy and your chin has been your weekend, there's not a ton of things that you can do. When you go against a guy like Quillian Salkeed, hopefully I'm saying that somewhat correctly, who had that, insane knocker that we just saw over Nasrat Haqparast, who was very, very solid competition. I got to go with Quillian Salkeed all day. I think he's faster. He's more explosive. Slight reach advantage, but roughly the same size. He's a lot more bulky. He looks more like an athlete than Jamie Malarkey does. And I think he's just more polished on a lot of different levels. So give me Quillian Salkeed to get this one done in Australia. Moving up the card, tied Bam Bam Tuivasa back in action this weekend against Taliesin Teixeira. Teixeira is 4-1 over his last 5 coming in off a loss against Derek Lewis. And I will say this, that loss to Derek Lewis, it was kind of weird where Derek hit him with a punch. It might have been a slip, and then Derek swarmed him on the ground, and then Teixeira worked his way to standing, and then like a punch kind of landed, and then they kind of stepped in and they called it off. He might have been out of it. He might not have been out of it. It was just, it did look a little bit early. I would have wanted to see that fight play out a little bit more. I'm not saying Taliesin Teixeira would have totally fought out of it 100% and he was robbed, but I think there was a little bit more meat on that bone in that fight, and I would have liked to see what the outcome ultimately was. As far as Tai Tuivasa, his last fight against Arsenio Rosenstrike, he allowed his leg to get chewed up consistently. It was a striking battle. He looked better than I thought he would, considering the 4 fights previous to that. Marcin Tybura, he was submitted. Volkov was submitted. Sergey Pavlovich was knocked out. Cyril Gane was knocked out. I think it's going to be a decision victory for Taliesin Teixeira. I think Tai Tuivasa is, he's going to throw big hands. I think Taliesin Teixeira being really big, really tall. He's got an 83-inch reach advantage, and he's able to use that length. So I think he's going to be able to stay away from Tai Tuivasa's handful of big shots. And we were talking about it before we got on here, Keith. Tai talked about how hard this camp has been from having to battle back from being 303 pounds. So he weighs in, roughly around 265. So I don't know if that's 30, 40 pounds he had to drop here, but sorry, I was getting a little feedback, but I don't know if that's like 20, 30, 40, 50 pounds that he had to drop in order to get here. But that's not what you want the focus to be on the fight camp, not losing weight from 308 pounds. You want it to be sharpening your skills, and also getting up to 308 pounds, I think, is a problem because it tells you what the training was like. So it's not like Tai Tuivasa was a super polished fighter. He was, everyone liked him because he was like a man of the people. But once he started getting knocked out and things started slipping, and when he was, really not taking care of himself, being athletic, I think things, unraveled. So I don't know that I've seen a lot change here. So I'm going to go with Talos Teixeira to win the decision here. Keith, what do you think?
Yeah, I think it's maybe more likely that he finishes Tai Tuivasa. And I think that a really fun, sneaky bet is Teixeira by submission. Because I think that anybody that goes in to fight Tai Tuivasa at this point knows his ground game is extremely subpar. And in his own words, he's historically been a pretty fat guy. Like, the heavyweight division isn't exactly the division of stellar athletes. But, you have your Babe Ruths and then you have your Mark McGuires. And Tai Tuivasa is certainly a Mark McGuire. He's a heavy guy, sometimes a home run hitter. And if you want to bet like you're betting on a home run hitter too, if you're going to bet responsibly, don't just listen to us. But it would be to take Tai Teixeira. I'm sorry, Tai Tuivasa to knock out Talos Teixeira, because that is like betting on your favorite like eighth man in the lineup, fat guy catcher to hit a home run. It's like essentially the same bet. So it's like betting on Tai Tuivasa to hit a home run, because I think that he's going to need a home run to win this fight. I think that Taliesin, if he's smart, goes in there, takes him down. We haven't seen Taliesin show the worst submission game, and we've seen Tai Tuivasa show some of the worst submission defense. And, I really like the guy. I think he's awesome. Like, don't get me wrong. I think he, like you said, man of the people, just like a guy's guy, an everyday bro. He's just in there swinging. He's throwing punches with some of the best fighters in the world. The heavyweight division is kind of lacking, and that's why he's like in that top 10, I think, if he is still. But it's just sad to see such a fall from grace. He knocked out Derek Lewis, and then since then it's lost to Cyril Gane. He was way overmatched in that one and falling. So I think it's a home run required, very rare. It's got to be like that literally special swing for Tai Tuivasa. It's got to be that one swing right on the ball that knocks out Teixeira. Other than that, I think Teixeira is either going decision or I'm sorry. I think either submission or knockout. I don't think that he's going to go I don't think that Tai is going to be able to go the distance. I think that Tai Tuivasa is going to fold one way or another before the final bell rings. It's like tires out, second round, takes one bad one and just hits the deck. We've seen some heavyweights do that, and I think that he's not too far off from a guy that would do that.
I'm just gonna go out on a limb and say, because it's in Australia and because it's his first fight in a year and a half, he's going to ward that off for at least a round and a half, and I'm taking him to cover 1.5 rounds at plus 200. That would be my bet. I like the fight to go over 1.5 rounds at plus 200. That makes me feel confident. I think Ty's going to at least give us 7.5 minutes for Australia.
That would be pretty dope. I think his gas tank is going to be cooked personally, but maybe like coming off of that whole like, I'm fat. It's been a year and a half.
Maybe he did a lot of cardio to lose the weight.
Yeah, that's the thing I'm thinking is like maybe he just did like a ton of cardio to lose the weight, and he'll come out there gas tank crazy, swinging from the fences early. And
remember, he went 3 rounds with Rosenstruik in a striking battle when his knee was chewed up.
That's true.
And Rosenstruik's a kickboxer.
Well, I'll put it to you this way. I don't have many underdogs personally on this card. So I'm willing to like go Tai Tuivasa to come back after fucking 5 losses in a row, shoey in front of the home crowd, do the whole.
That would be unreal.
Yeah, it would just have to be a very Derek Lewis-esque knockout where it's like a flying knee in the first 3 seconds, or catch the dude when he's going for a takedown with a crazy uppercut. He doesn't have like the same power as Derek Lewis, unfortunately, but he did knock Derek Lewis out. So like, but then that's also Derek Lewis, who like Tai Tuivasa is just so reminiscent of Derek Lewis in so many ways. Like,
Yeah. Crumbling.
yeah, sometimes he just fucking gives up because it's not about the belt for these guys. Like, it's just about going out there and like making money and having a good time. So tough call. Like, I could actually see that, like, and like I was saying, it's like betting on your favorite fucking 8-hole catcher, fat guy that like you don't think is gonna pull through, but it's like, if he does, the odds are there. I bet you Tai Tuivasa to win by knockouts probably like plus 400. And if that's how you're feeling, be responsible. But like, always a good bet when he's fighting. Always a good bet. He's never out until it's like 3/4 of the way through the second round and he can't breathe. But I maybe this will be the one that he pulls through. So that's like my unofficial. That's my unofficial.
Tuivasa, it's not that good. Tuivasa wins by knockout is plus 320.
Okay, I mean that's not bad, dude. That's 100. You win 320. So I'm willing to live with that. Like, because there's a chance it happens. Like, Taliesin only has what, like 1-2 losses. It's just, but I that's my unofficial like novelty pick. I still think it's Taliesin by some form of finish personally. But you're still going decision, right?
I'm going, yeah. I'll go decision as the risky pick. I think it's going to be Taliesin, but I like that 1.5 rounds over.
I like that a lot too, actually. And what do you got for the next one? Rafael Fiziev versus
this is a good fight, man. This is a really good fight. This is a very interesting main card. No women's fights. I think it's a very, very interesting main card. We've had a couple interesting fights up until this point. We've had good discussions about it. This is, no different. Mauricio one-shot Rufi over taking on Rafael Ataman Fiziev. 2 and 3. It's crazy to say for Rafael Fiziev. 2 of them being to Justin Gaethje in battles, and Mateusz Gamrot via a leg injury. I don't know how I really score that or counted. Noxio Bahamudez got a decision win. Rafael Dos Anjos, he knocked out. Rafael Fiziev, we know him to be an aggressive style of fighter. He's going to go in there. He's going to crowd you. He's going to throw big shots. He's going to pressure you. He's got good power. He's got good grappling. But he's also, got a solid chin, but he's also, not the most strategic of a fighter. Like, he's going to go in there and he's just going to kind of throw hands, very similar to Justin Gaethje. That's why they had really good fights that he was not on the winning side of, unfortunately. But Mauricio Rufi, he's going to, use distance. He's a precision fighter. He's, got power in his hands, but more in the preciseness and the speed in which he lands than just overall power. Whereas Rafael Fiziev, he is a good, not to take anything away from him. He's a good striker. He moves in and out very well. He picks his shots really well. He's a phenomenal striker. But when comparing these two, Fiziev hits me a little bit more like a brawler and a wild guy who's going to be able to give one and take one, whereas Rufi's going to be a little bit more calculated, a little more of that Conor McGregor style. And there's probably a better name for it, but that's what comes to mind now. Rufi being minus 125, I think, is absolutely criminal. He is coming in off of a loss against Benoit Saint-Denis. Easily forgivable. Wins over Bobby Green with that spinning heel kick that everybody is super high on. And it's King Green. It's Bobby Green. Like, I don't know how highly I really rank any of those wins, surely against guys of similar competition. But when we're trying to figure out how good Rufi is, and he kind of looked bad against Benoit Saint-Denis, absolutely no ground game whatsoever. Saint-Denis just had his way with him. And then you compare him to against a guy like Fiziev, who's went, the distance with Justin Gaethje and put on really good battles. I got to go Fiziev. I think it's going to be a striker's delight of a matchup. But Fiziev, if it doesn't go his way, he's got that ground game to rely on if he needs it. But I think he's more active. He uses good movement. He picks his shots well, but he throws a lot. I think he's going to overwhelm Rufi. I don't know that Rufi's had sufficient competition to get him ready to face the Fiziev. So it's gonna be a big step up in competition for him. So give me Fiziev. I think he gets this one done, and plus 100 feels like a steal.
I saw a tweet before, and I don't know if it was like some fake shit, but it was like Rufy has left the Fight Nerds. He announced it at his press conference today, and now he's training with Volkanovski full time. That might have been some fucking bullshit. I didn't watch the press conferences before, but like if you work with Volk, like I don't think he did. I just want to like clarify this beforehand why I'm a little excited about it, because if you do, your ground game defense goes up like probably like 50%. Like you get like 5 stat points to it because I mean that dude was able to counter Islam Makhachev's grappling at like every turn. And then even like Jack had some answers for Islam's wrestling. I don't know if that's facts, bro. I think that's like the tweet that I saw. That might be some bullshit if that's like the only tweet about it. I might have got. I'm not gonna lie, but yeah. Either way, I think that like the Fight Nerds are getting better. I was gonna go with Fiziev. You threw me off, but
Oh yeah, it's definitely fake if they're announcing UFC fights.
yeah, it's definitely fake. All right, my bad. But regardless, I think that like Fight Nerds, they're a really good gym, and I think that they were able to pick apart Hoofy's last loss against Saint Denis and say to themselves, what was the problem here? It was a pretty glaring, obvious problem, is that Rufy had no ground defense whatsoever, and Fiziev is accomplished. He's just not that great of a ground guy. I mean, when I think of Fiziev, I think of like this incredible, measured, talented. Not always measured, but he's just a kickboxer. Like he's a Muay Thai kickboxer. That dude is a fucking dog, and his Muay Thai is off the charts. Like you said, fun, striker's delight of a matchup. I don't really see Fiziev falling back on his grappling as much too, because he's like very much like we want to have fun fights. Like he doesn't really fall back on it too much. I think that when it comes down to it, Hoofy is just going to have, or Rufy, however you say it, he's just going to have more counter options for Fiziev. Fiziev is going to be more of the aggressor. Fiziev is the shorter man, shorter wingspan. The kicking game from Rufy is crazy. You're going to see a lot of shit come up the middle. A lot of those side kicks are going to just pierce Fiziev in the body as he tries to close the distance on Rufy. And, it's going to be, it's that big leap that the shorter guy with the shorter wingspan has to cross. They almost have to overextend themselves, and that hangs their chin out there a little bit more. I see Tapology is heavy on Fiziev, and the odds are slightly favoring Rufy, but I'm going to have to go with Rufy here. I just think the length, the youth, and the counter is going to be huge for him. He's going to be the one sitting back, like you said, a lot more. And it's not going to look as pretty in round one because Rafael's going to connect with a lot more. But then I think Rufy is the type of dude to analyze the game plan, go back to the corner, have the Fight Nerds talking to him. All right, when he fucking does this, do this. He listens to his coaches. And, I think rounds 2 and 3 are his to take over. So I think you're going to probably see him win by a decision. But it might not look pretty in round 1. I don't know. That's my long, convoluted take on that. Next up, Benoit Saint Denis versus Dan Hooker. I have to go BSD in this fight. Dog, absolute savage. Hands, grappling, whole package put together. The Dustin Poirier loss was a huge lesson for him. Went in there with staff and this and that, and was on antibiotics and hard weight cut. Big lesson learned. I think that he's not going to be an Armin type and go, day out with a back injury, but he's not going to fight in a compromised state ever again. And I think that when he's at full health, which he appears to be going into this Dan Hooker fight, he is a problem for everybody. I think that he actually, in my mind right now, presents the biggest problem in terms of an all-around fighter for a guy like an Ilia Topuria, the current champion of the lightweight division. So, which Benoit Saint Denis and Dan Hooker are fighting in this week. So that's why I have to go with BSD this week, because Dan Hooker is a one-trick pony. Dan Hooker said it himself. He was like, well, the Justin Gaethje, someone was online, like the Justin Gaethje fight was like incredible and you had such a good chin. or the Dan Hooker. I'm sorry, Dustin Poirier versus Dan Hooker. Dan Hooker, your chin was incredible. He was like, well, if that's all you have to say about me after a fight, I clearly didn't do that well. Like, I just ate a lot of shots. And that's what Dan Hooker does really well. Dan Hooker is I'm going to take one and I'm going to give one back type of dude. He's not shy about leaving his chin kind of out there, but also firing back very quickly. And he's good at connecting with those fire back shots. It's just like when you leave your chin out there like that, he kind of has like this extended stance. When you leave your hands out there your chin out there like that, and it does get connected with and you're just throwing those counters, you're going to wear the brunt of the damage. Like, you're going to receive the majority of the hard, heavy shots because that person is putting their foot into it, their hip into it and everything. And you're just kind of like backing up. Like, sometimes he looks like he's fucking dazed when he's throwing those shots, but that's how he fights. Throws a leg kick every now and then, kind of mixes it up with his own striking sometimes, wants to throw a few combos, but BSD is just going to go in there and take him down when he wants to do that. Like, he's going to hit him with the heavy shots first. And then when Dan Hooker fires back a few times, he's going to take him down. And I think that maybe like round one in typical Dan Hooker fashion ends with him like butt scooting to a cage, standing up that way, like scooting his way up, and then kind of sitting with BSD's seatbelt around him for the remaining minute. And then round two, he's going to be expecting the grappling, and Benoit is going to go out there and piece him up. So I think it's probably going to be Benoit Saint-Denis by a finish, honestly, in this one. I think he might knock out Dan Hooker. I'm just going to go BSD straight up. Well, what are the odds on that? Like minus 300?
340.
Yeah.
I feel like you gotta go BSD straight up because he could get it done in a variety of ways. It could go to a decision. BSD has gone to decisions before with guys. He ends up a lot of the times like he will just. He knocked out Beneil Dariush and he submitted Mauricio Hoofi, made him look awful. We don't know how good or bad Mauricio Hoofi really is on the ground. We just went over that. Submitted Kyle Propoli, the Moicano, that was an eye injury. He would have battled back from that freak thing. He would have won that fight too, I believe. And then Dustin Poirier was a right hook. He had the staph infection. Those are his two losses. He's criminally underrated. And listen, but Dan Hooker went into the middle of the second round with Arman Tsarukyan before he got submitted. So I don't think it's impossible that Benoit Saint-Denis, goes into the second, maybe even the third round, and maybe even goes to a decision. I think it's going to be a unanimous one. I don't know how. I really don't give Dan Hooker much of a shot here, but because I'm not really sure when Benoit Saint-Denis is going to get the finish, if he does get it, or if it's going to go to decision, because Dan is a tough guy. You can never underestimate Dan Hooker. I feel like Dan Hooker is not really getting better anymore. He's just accepted where he's at. And just likes to go in there and put on a fun scrap. Benoit Saint-Denis is on a mission, and he's a scary man on a mission. Former Green Beret, I think Green Beret, or whatever military operations they have in France. He's a that. He's a scary dude. I think he's going to go out there. He's going to take Dan Hooker down. I don't know if he's going to play on the feet too much. I think he's going to go in there and get it done. He's a man on a mission. Give me Benoit Saint-Denis. However he chooses, and I don't really know how he's going to choose. Brings us to go ahead.
I want to say I forgot the whole thing about him being like French special forces or whatever he was. Did you see in his last fight they brought out like his boys that were injured in combat? Like his one buddy had like was missing like a leg missing, and they honored them, and it was like a whole cool thing before he went out there and fucking knocked out Beneil Dariush. It was pretty sweet, and awesome. He's such a savage, bro. I love BSD. So, I sorry to cut you off. What do we got next?
Main event with our guy, Diego Lopes. We saw him make his debut in the Prudential Center way back when. Taking on Alexander Volkanovski. Yeah.
Yeah, we did. Who did we see him fight? Movsar Evloev, right?
Yes.
Yeah. See, I got good memory.
Yeah.
Who was the main event? You don't remember?
No, I'm going to remember something.
It was fucking Aljamain Sterling versus Henry Cejudo.
Okay, that's what I thought it was.
Yeah,
I was going to say, was it Aljamain versus Cejudo?
Yeah, and then afterwards was when Sean O'Malley got in the ring with that like Michael Jackson jacket that he had, and Marab
Um,
took it away. Yeah, that was
we
a
saw a
fun
good
back.
fight. We saw that was a very, great that I remember it so clearly. But
It's just so crazy to think how far we've come since then. That Aljamain Sterling versus Henry Cejudo was the bantamweight title fight. Like so much has happened since then.
mhm.
Yeah, well, that's time, bro. Time.
All right, I'm gonna. We're getting a little feedback on your mic, so I'm just gonna cut that there. Um, Listen, back to this fight. Speaking of time, I think Volkanovski was probably the champion at that point, and now he's the champion again now. So it just kind of speaks to how long he's been in the game. But he's 37 years old, man. At 145, he's a dinosaur. And we were talking about his skits earlier. We talked about him going into movies and spending his time maybe doing that. I don't know what that means for him, his career, or how much time is left, but I do know that Diego Lopez is an absolute freaking dog. And we look back, and there are 3 losses on folks here. Islam Makhachev up a weight class, beat Yair Rodriguez. Short notice. Islam Makhachev was a lot bigger than too, so I don't like that one. Ilya Taporia, and then took a long time off, came back. Diego Lopez got that decision win, and since that time, we saw a knockout to John Silva by Diego Lopez. I really don't know. I haven't looked too much. I haven't looked too deep inside myself to figure out who I think is going to win here. I know I'm going to be pulling for Alexander Volkanovski, but I'm nervous. I don't know that I'm looking forward to Saturday because I think the opportunity for Volkanovski to no longer be champion is very, very real. I mean, Diego Lopez at 31 years old, I think there's a lot to have learned from that loss to Volkanovski. And I think he could get the rub, have gotten the rub from being in that spotlight, not getting the win, going back, able to, kind of reevaluate. He's a smart fighter. He's a good fighter. He's younger. Volk's always going to have the lower center of gravity. That's true. But, speed goes and it goes fast. I really don't know where I'm going to go with this. What are your thoughts on it?
Well, I think that Volk remains the champion after this weekend. It's tough because Diego Lopez did have that fight against him the last time and he looked really good, but like that rub really only happens after a guy gets the belt. We see that often. It's like they say champions get better, or like 80% better after they win the belt. Diego Lopez didn't win. Someone remarkable came along a little while ago, and now he's a division above, and that was Ilya Topuria. And not to like glaze him too much, but I really hope he returns to greatness because that guy is different, bro. That guy is fucking awesome. And he's the type of guy that could dethrone a Volk. Like, I think that in this second title run, Volk already beat Diego Lopez the last time around. I think he's going to do it again. I think he's just so technical. Like, he was never a speed guy. He was always timing. Okay. And I'll give you this, right? Yes, you lose speed over time, but you don't lose is timing. Look at Anderson Silva.
True.
Like, you don't lose timing. And the guys that were first to the punch, yeah, as they get older, they degrade. But Volkanovski is so good at reading punches. Like, you're looking at him do it now, right? He's maintaining the distance with the feint. He's keeping Diego Lopez, a big power puncher, off of him.
He does manage distance very well.
Yeah, he does, especially for such a small guy. I'm really hoping that he retains this week. I think he's going to. I think that Diego's not technical enough for Volkanovski. Volk is way too technical, and Diego Lopez thrives against guys that don't have the same level of defense and the same level of all-aroundness that Volkanovski has. Like, look at that. He goes for the takedown, exits, and immediately 1, 2, 3.
And he's just so crisp. Like, you see, like, his blocking is just, that hand is always high. You know?
And he's not the most aggressive of fighters, but look at that. Diego Lopez goes for a low kick.
But Lopez does drop him in this round, though.
Yeah, he does. But what does Volk do? What's the end result of the fight?
I mean, yeah. I mean, listen, and he won 49-46, so this is the round that he lost here that we're watching.
Yeah.
I want to get to the part where he gets dropped. I don't know where in the round it is.
All right, you drop one round. Like that's how I feel about it. Like, all right, you drop one round. If you drop 2 rounds, that's pushing it. You're entering dangerous territory there. But I do think that Volkanovski is going to win 4 out of 5 rounds against Diego Lopes this weekend. Diego Lopes is going to be looking to like recreate this shot coming up in a little bit. He's going to be looking to do that a lot. And Volk is a film study guy. I can't. Yeah, see, look at that from Volk. But Diego Lopes
fights deep on the hips, but he's not able to get it there. Ooh.
Yeah, Diego fights like a cage, like a cornered animal too. And when he gets hit with shots, he comes back crazy. Like he really wants to. He wants to throw crazy hands.
Look how active the clinch is too. Just like you see Volk working, moving on hands, just trying everything he can to get an advantage in there. But like, good on Lopes for being able to fight out of it. Like he's game for sure.
Oh yeah, he absolutely is. But that jab just got popped off 3 times in his face, 2 times. And Volk takes his shots when like he knows he can get them. Like right now, Diego Lopes is worried about so many other things, so he's popping that jab off. And when he's up against
the eye,
yeah, he did. But when he's up against the cage with him like that, clinching him, he knows that's when he can get those like little shots.
Oh wow, that was sick.
Yeah, that was a nice hook.
Leg kick, overhand right, and then pop that left hand on him twice.
Yeah, that was dirty. It was a good fight, but my main thinking is just I don't see Diego Lopes.
Oh.
Like they're
definitely broke his nose right there. The amount of wipes that Lopes took on. But didn't he drop him in this round?
I don't remember.
I thought he did.
I thought it was a pretty like solid all around fight from Volk. I don't remember.
Oh there it is.
There you go. But that's what Volk has to avoid though, is like those firefights with Diego, because Diego, that's where he has to be. Like Diego's power and Diego's ability to stand down in the pocket and just throw shots like that is unique to certain guys like Diego. And Volkanovski is not that type of guy. He's a technical guy. He's not a brawler. He's got to keep you at distance. And as long as he can maintain that distance with Diego Lopes and not brawl like that, then he's going to be good. It's just, look at him. He's trying. Yeah.
Yeah. It's when his feet stand still and you get 1, 2. And if Lopes is able to follow up on him, land 3, 4 punches and get in on distance, that's no good. But if Volk can keep moving, change directions, boom, land that hook and move. Like, watch here. Volk's always going to keep his feet moving. That's how he controls the distance. That's why he's so good. But if Lopes can go in and land 3, 4 punch combinations and Volk doesn't move his feet, that's when he's going to land. So, and ultimately that boils down to Volkanovski, remembering to move his feet, getting out of there, remembering to circle. I bet you, like you said, film study guy, he's going to go back and be like, listen, like, move your feet. That doesn't happen. And I'm Team Volk for seeing that. Not that I wasn't before, but now I feel sold.
Just want to double down on me taking Rufi as well, because a lot of that does have to do also with Diego Lopes being the taller, longer guy in this exchange. He's got the longer wingspan. So naturally, if a guy keeps his legs planted against a guy his own size, maybe that little lean back gets him out of the way or something. But when you're fighting the taller guy like that with the longer wingspan, it doesn't really always pan out so well.
And Lopes isn't known for having the kiss of death.
No, he's not, but he's a brawler. He has knocked guys out.
He knocked out Sadiq Yusuf with like uppercut to ground strike, so he had to go in, he had to finish him. And then you're looking at John Silva with spinning back elbow to ground punches. So it's not like he's going to go 1, 2, bang, and then slump Volk. So, and I always think Volk is going to be a guy who's going to work out of that too. So it makes me think that like you have to like really, really hurt Volk. And I don't know that Lopes has that. Off of
you have to head kick him on 2 weeks' notice to put him.
Kick him on 2 weeks' notice, exactly. Yeah. You have to catch him with something that he's not going to see, but because he's such a tactician and he's so locked in, he sees everything. Like I don't think a spinning back elbow is going to land. Watch this, clip that spinning back elbow. Lopes wins the bout, but
yeah. But I will say though that Diego Lopez. So two things. Volkanovski's age is worrying me. And as he gets older, it's like, oh man, here's like actually our old man Volk that's defending his belt at closer to 40 than he is to 30.
A lot.
Yeah. What is he, 37 now?
Yeah.
Scary times. And Diego Lopez, while he's not like known to be this crazy power puncher, that victory over John Silva was fucking nuts, bro. That was different. So that makes me worried about like the power and the evolution in Diego Lopez's career. So yeah, it's definitely a little bit scary as always as a Volk fan going in. You never want to see a guy like this who's a generational fighter drop his belt, and he's so look at that spinning elbow. Oh my god. And I almost thought that was Volkanovski too. Same color shorts. It like went right into that clip.
Yeah, but that was Volkanovski that were totally missed. Look at this.
Right. Well,
he just catches them off like the forehead, top of the head.
Yeah, Volkanovski's shorter. Good call.
It wouldn't have hit him, yeah.
So I did think that. I was like, Jesus Christ, did I miss that? Like it didn't even like the name didn't change or anything like that. It just went right from like green shorts Volk to green shorts John Silva, and I was like, what the fuck? Like
Volk comes up here. Volk's down here.
Yeah. But yeah, there is a huge difference there. I mean, maybe like a 3. Gene Silva's not like John Silva, whatever. He's not like the biggest dude going. But
a lot bigger than Volk.
I'm gonna be honest, he's the one in like if he's fighting at bantamweight, he's the one that like scares me the most to go ahead and like take Volk's belt at this point. But yeah, like I feel like the timing on that's gonna be like, you know, it's gonna be like fishy timing where like Volk will be coming even closer to the end of his career.
Right.
So
every fight is going to come with more and more scrutiny for Alexander Volkanovski. And this very well may be the last fight that I pick him in. Hopefully it's not.
Less scrutiny from like the aspect of like, yo, he's not a talented fighter. Like he's proved.
No, it's just him versus Father Time, and Father Time always wins. How long can he hold out for?
Right. He's proved absolutely everything he needs to prove in his career at this point. But it's just, is he too old to be doing this? Is this going to be the one?
And even his picture looks old.
Yeah, but it's going to be fun if he has one of those runs where it's like, okay, he lost 3 fights right in the middle of, let's say that was like the midpoint in his career, and all of a sudden he hits a new peak.
Oh yeah, we talking about like New and Old Testament Volk.
Yeah, right. BI before Islam.
Yeah, exactly.
But
wow, he's gonna the max fights were Volk BI. And then we're gonna be like, remember when he knocked out Diego Lopez in
don't push it. But yeah, I get it. Yeah, I think it's gonna be a strong decision win for him. I think that like you're probably only gonna see decision wins for Volkanovski going this point in his career. What was his last finish win? Yair Rodriguez?
Yeah.
Nice. I'm smart. Yeah, I got Volk. Are you still like abstaining from this one, or are you picking?
No, I'm going Volk.
Oh, okay, cool. All right, well, with all that being said, pick rundown time.
All right, main card. Here we go. You first.
Okay, for the main card, I'm going with Quillen Salkield. I'm going to have to listen to John Anik say that one. He's so good with the pronunciations. Love that guy. Taliesin Teixeira over Tai Tuivasa. Yo, the TTTT names are kind of fucking me up there. I'm going with Mauricio Rufio over Rafael Fiziev. Benoit Saint-Denis to beat Dan Hooker in a violent fashion. And Alexander Volkanovski to decision win Diego Lopez.
Let's get Quillen Salkield for me. Taliesin Teixeira over Tai Tuivasa. I'm doing Rafael Fiziev over Marcio Rufi. BSD, Benoit Saint-Denis over Dan Hooker, and Volkanovski defending against Diego Lopez, going 2-0 versus that young buck. But then again, you know, maybe he loses and he comes back and he wins it back again a third time, be the first to ever do that, and have multiple 3, you know, he would have every single just everything of everything. If he had 3 trilogies, that would be unbelievable. Well, did he have he didn't have a trilogy with Islam. He only had
No, well, not yet. But
not yet. Never know.
Once upon a time, it's so crazy to think that until Islam, it's like a lot of records did get broken for Alexander Volkanovski. Not records, but like personal records. He was unbeaten in rematches, like unbeaten in trilogies. It's crazy the last couple of years what the time has done to Volkanovski. But I don't think that Diego Lopes is him. So see what happens.
If he is, we were there for his UFC birth, so
That's crazy.
Cool.
What an achievement on our end.
We either way we come out victorious here.
Yes.
Well,
like, comment, and subscribe.
Appreciate you.